Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a part 2 with Scott Patrylack. Still got the homie down here at the studios. And, yeah, let's get into it. So we left off talking about kind of where your business is at when it comes to not only tattooing and not only piercing, but you're wanting to be in a broad spectrum for artwork as a whole. What is life kind of like now, finally getting to be your own boss?
Man, it's kind of crazy. It's pretty wild, especially, as everybody, or as most people anyways, like your first couple jobs, everybody's first couple jobs, you're working for somebody else most of your life. Like you go to school, listen to teachers. Mm-hmm. So like getting to be your own boss and set your own schedule, your fucking own pay rate and shit, like it's fucking mind-blowing, and it's a game changer for real. Especially if you're wanting to step outside of that, like outside of the box of working a normal job, if you will, a normal quote, air quote. Yeah, man, it's been a game changer for in the best ways possible.
What was kind of impressive and just intense, and a thing that made me want to jot that question down for you was, I remember when we were hollering about trying to actually set this up, I hollered at you like, hey, what about either Sunday or something coming up? And you're like, nah, unfortunately, not only are we finally getting back from the long weekend and unpacking, but I got to either do inventory on top of a reschedule and setting up for a Monday tattoo, something like that. Or I said, hey, do you want to do this on Monday? And like, I have a Tuesday that I'm setting up for. I've got to check an inventory.
And
I was like, it's a day off, right? I thought y'all weren't open. But I get that obviously you have behind the scenes stuff you got to do too.
Absolutely, yeah. So me being 1/3 owner, I am a part of 3 there, and we each have individual things that we do throughout the shop. And for me, it's ordering and inventorying all inks, needles, and tattoo supplies, everything we need to do our daily shit.
Okay, nice.
I make sure that we have it all and have it in stock, and if we're getting low, we get it on an order and get that order made. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a whole nother
side of it.
It's a whole nother day that I have to spend at the shop while no one else is there, which usually that's kind of nice. It's quiet in there, play some music, count things, see where
working,
I'm at.
But doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Although, I guess, how do you feel about trying to justify whether or not that's like, obviously to an extent it's income producing because if you're not supplied kind of thing, but it's like, yeah, how does that feel about having to take those mundane days? Has that also mentally affected you at all?
No,
coming from a perspective of someone who's an employee versus someone who is talking to you who is an employer.
Fair.
One of these days, whenever y'all are ready for employees, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
it's kind of just part of it for you.
Yeah, it's a part of the process. Like it's necessity. Like if I don't do that, then we're gonna run out of the needles or the inks we need, and then we're ass out.
And that's just that's a roadblock ain't nobody need.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a super inconvenient thing to do. Like when it comes to like, oh, I have this design and I know I need these specific needles to do it.
Okay, so as far as either your specific liners, your specific shaders,
exactly,
all that jazz, so
yeah.
Right.
Okay,
cool.
So whenever I print out my design to make the stencil, I print it out and I go and I pick out all the needles I'm going to need to make this happen. Mm-hmm. And so with that, like if I'm out of something that I need for this tattoo, that is highly frustrating for myself personally.
Especially if you're anticipating a next day tattoo kind of thing.
Exactly, yes. Also prep time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, or not even a lot of people, some people, I will say some people, question why we do like deposits and things like that when we set appointments for them. Well, I take Sundays and Mondays as much as I can. I sit down and block out like 6 hours of each of my days off to draw all of the tattoos for that week.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so like that's roughly, I would say on average I spend about 10 to 12 hours drawing on my days off just for the tattoos coming up for the week. That's not including physical art that I have for the art gallery out front in the shop.
Or flash.
Or flash to try to get other people in.
Yeah, just walk in people.
Yeah, or to, get smaller stuff. If I got a hole in my schedule, it's cool to fill it with a piece of flash. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like I'm running a couple different of my own art hustles, really. Like
sure.
there's tattooing, the appointments I have, and the things that people want. Like they come to me, they have an exact idea. Cool, I'm gonna work with you, make this yours. I also have like flash, like shit that I want to do.
Yeah.
Shit that I've created that I put out there, and if somebody likes it, cool, I get to do it, you know. And then I've also got the art for the art gallery that I do. So, like, that's 3 different art jobs right there, all in one.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So, as far as your own projects, I missed out on Into the Abyss. I don't remember. More than likely, it was a dad life situation where I was just like, I wanted to pop down, and either there was a nap issue or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I get it.
I remember you had advertised getting to do that, and I was stoked. It's something I wanted to do. What else is coming up for ideas like that? Obviously, that was its own thing that you had to semi-prep and obviously put all your art together that you wanted to have your own, like, open gallery style tour for.
Right.
On top of you probably potentially blocking out whatever period of time you wanted to do, like 2 to 4, 2 to 6, whenever you finally wanted to do that.
Right.
And then not, risk not having any tattoo appointments coming in for that block.
Gotcha. So that was my very first art show, so I had no idea how that was supposed to go or what was supposed to be done. So, I actually had a couple appointments for that day already set, so I went ahead and, I kept them, I did them,
Nice.
But the time I didn't have, I enjoyed spending out in the lobby. Now, I wasn't necessarily making as much money tattooing, but I was getting to interact with new people coming into the shop, checking it out, potentially buying my art.
Yeah.
Like, I get a chance to talk to those people, and they get a chance to, like, actually communicate with the artist that created that, and I feel like that's kind of a special thing, because a lot of people buy art online. So you never actually get to meet that artist. So I think it's really cool when people have that opportunity. So that's why we try to do these things for the community.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet that's pretty, I don't even know what words I want to use here. But I'm pretty sure that is something that helps when it comes to not only the foot traffic, but hopefully return clients. My biggest thing is I'm just waiting on paychecks to stabilize for me because I'm dying. I'm ready to
that's
come
totally
in
fair.
and get
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, repeat clients are, they're kind of my fave. Like, you really get to know those people.
For sure.
Like, you spend 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours with that person, every month. Like, that's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole lot of time to sit there and bullshit with somebody.
Nice.
Yeah.
How has tattooing itself kind of affected, I guess, how you've been perceived? Not just around town, but kind of like in life, if that makes sense. So the way that you are now looked upon in society, which is obviously ever expansively growing and adapting and welcoming and accepting. But, still, life has always been full of the people that kind of came before that are still here, that have these hard set ways that don't like where life is going. And those are a greater number than the smaller, finite people that are like, yeah, all right, cool, let's move forward. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, personally, I don't know, man. I don't feel any different inside. I've always done art. This was just kind of me getting to actually express it and show it to everyone. But oh, man. So I go to, like, family dinners, or we'll go to, like, to the bar or whatever, and if people recognize you, that the only thing they want to talk to you about is what you do for a living. And after a while, that's cool. I'm not saying, like, I'm not trashing on anybody. Like, I enjoy talking to people, but, like, kind of like in my off time, like, if I'm at the bar having a drink, probably not good time to quote you a price for your tattoo, like, I think at a certain level I cut myself off, and I'll tell you, like, I'm gonna need 5 goats for this tattoo.
Awesome. That's hilarious. That'd be a great way to do that.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's fantastic.
Know your limits. Know your limits when you're answering questions about work and you're drinking.
Of course, yeah. When you mentioned, like, going to a family dinner and stuff, and more than likely, going through whatever you go through with those, what do you feel like, especially being your own boss too, what is the family work-life dynamic like for you now versus when you had, like, a regular employed gig versus being your own boss? Obviously it's got to be its own unique experience too, because you and your partner both are sharing this workload, let alone trying to figure out this balance. But you two both have little G-Man running around doing his thing. Right.
Yeah. So school started this week, so that's kind of been helpful. Like, got a place for him to go and hang out and learn something while we're at work. But yeah, it has definitely been rough getting on any sort of schedule because prior to owning our own business, we worked noon to 8,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we had an offset schedule. Like, we weren't going to bed till midnight, waking up at, like, 9 or 10 in the morning.
But at least you were able to make the schedule out of that. You were able to kind of semi-conform to it a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. And then, so, yeah, trying to break that. And, like, because our shop now is 10 to 6.
Yeah.
So, like, we all have to be up early. He started school, so he's got to be up early for that. So, right now, it's kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We've always made it work. Like, I mean, it's always going to be a rough new schedule.
For sure.
For anybody. I mean, that's typical. But,
how are you feeling as an artist? So, again, I think I brought this up potentially in the last episode, but art is able to stay a hobby for me. Do you still feel the same passion and love for it that you did back in the day when it was like straight up new, the first time you picked up that paintbrush, or the first time you touched a wood-burning gun kind of thing, let alone the first time you picked up a tattoo gun? Do you still feel that same fire and drive and love for it?
Absolutely.
Versus it becoming like how that whole adage of, you know, don't make a job out of what you love, otherwise it'll become work and you'll resent it and it'll always feel like work. That's not verbatim on what that saying used to be, but the premise of, like, don't mix the two, business pleasure thing, because you don't want it to become business out of what gave you pleasure. Right.
No, man, it's still passion. It's still all passion. I spend countless nights up drawing, even if it's just for myself. If I have all of my projects done and everything's in the good, I have nothing to do, I will still stay up all fucking night just to draw a picture.
Is that what's up with the Facebook status where you're like, me to myself, I'm not going to draw skulls. Me, 6 hours later, skulls.
Yes, that is exactly it.
If you've got your staple where you love it, then it's even better.
I mean, that is what it is. Like, there's so many different ways to draw them. I could make so many different skulls that, like, none of them look the same, but they're all still skulls.
I never named this dude over here, but I need to. The little skull,
man.
The vampire.
I want to get you in for a touch-up on this guy. Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah,
well, no, I'm still looking forward to Jormungandr getting finalized.
Fuck.
I don't remember if I had to bounce or what happened, but I know that, like, I didn't sit good for you, and I don't remember why.
Because that's a painful spot.
Fair enough. Yeah. I was say, because I remember when you got my Easter Rising, Irish Rebellion, my Sunday Lilies and everything, even for close to the shin, I don't think I did anywhere near as bad as for whatever reason up here on that pec. And I was just
oh man, that was early on. So that may even been me just going too hard on your chest, man. Like, that put you through extra pain by accident.
Nah. I'm not worried about that. Because over here, my Vergicell, I remember shaking on you a little bit. I think that one was because I was jealous.
Man, that held up pretty well, though.
Yeah. No, I just remember shaking on you myself. I remember I was jealous that Anna popped in and was able to get scheduled with you, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want something. How about some kind of rune something wherever?" And then you wanted to, like, cap off that elbow. I'm like, I don't want to die.
Damn it! Yeah, that sounds like some ridiculous shit I would recommend.
Yeah, my chase in California, I think, has hold up pretty good with those that aqua blue you did that fades down to that purple.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. So
your little rose is still
it's not doing too bad. It's definitely purple. I didn't realize the way that color scheme matched really well.
It does,
actually.
yes.
Yeah, you got that purple blue going, and I love it.
Hell yeah.
So, and I still love my Misty Mountain, my Lonely Mountain over there out of my Hobbit hole. And man, that blue really did pack in great. That brown is still in there.
How long have you had that now?
Oh shit, man.
Man, that's been there a minute now.
It has. I don't know.
It's been a couple years.
2 years almost, because I was still fresh out of the police department.
Yep.
So, about 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's
still there.
Yeah, surviving this summer's tan that I never thought I'd get.
Yeah,
but
shit.
Yeah, and it's holding up. So, like, all the way around. Like, I mean, it's holding up all the way to the front of the door.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Nice, rad. Very cool.
Everybody, thanks for that quick little tattoo tour you were able to sit through. I know this is an audio medium, but hey, hopefully it was fun, and maybe I'll make sure to throw up on Instagram a couple of the tattoos that we were talking about. Thanks for hanging out, sticking around. Stay tuned for part 3.